All right, so here we say, whenever Joe's car is vacuumed, the employees of K&L Auto vacuum it. They are the only people who ever vacuum Joe's car. If the employees of K&L Auto vacuum Joe's car, then Joe took his car to K&L Auto to be fixed. Joe's car was recently vacuumed. Therefore, Joe took his car to K&L Auto to be fixed. All right, Allison, what is our conclusion here?
So I thought it was Joe's car was recently vacuumed, therefore Joe took his car to K&L Auto to be fixed.
One of those is correct. Which one of
Okay.
those is our conclusion?
The last part. So
Yes,
therefore
because Joe's
Joe,
car
yeah.
was recently vacuumed is just a fact, right? It's support.
Okay.
All right, so it says whenever, so this is a great one for us to diagram though. So it says whenever Joe's car is vacuumed. So if Joe's car is vacuumed, the employees of K&L Auto vacuum it. Okay, so the K&L are the ones that vacuum it. That's that first sentence. Then we say they are the only people who ever vacuum Joe's car. So if Joe's car is vacuumed, it must be these people. This is literally saying the same thing twice. So I'm not even going to diagram the second sentence because it's like literally saying the same thing twice. If the employees of K&L Auto vacuum Joe's car, then Joe took his car to K&L Auto to be fixed. So we get to then add this on to our sentence because it's the same thing. And we're saying it went to K&L Auto to be fixed. Joe's car was recently vacuumed. Therefore, he took it to be fixed. So if I were to prephrase what our argument here is saying is, it's going from if A to B to C, and then it gives us A, therefore C happened. Do we see that, how that lines up? Essentially what we did there. So Joe's car being vacuumed is what I'm referring to as A. So if Joe's car is vacuumed, then we know that it was vacuumed by the employees of K&L, which is what I'm referring to B. And if K&L vacuum, or if his car, sorry, if they vacuum it, that means that Joe took it to be fixed. And that's what I'm referring to as C. And then it gives us here that Joe's car was recently vacuumed, which is what A is up here. And then our conclusion is saying that it must have been to be fixed, and we're going to C. Is that yes, no? A little bit? A little bit? Okay. So let's go ahead and go on to this, and we're going to try to find something with a similar structure. So I'm going to go ahead and write this down, just A, B, and C, and we'll go ahead and start with A together. So this is saying if A, then B, then C, A, and then to C. All right. So A says all of the many book reviewers who read R.N.'s new novel thought that it was particularly well written. So how would we diagram this first sentence, Shelby?
Wait, sorry, I'm just confused. Did we read this stimulus yet?
Oh, I'm sorry. I must have. Sorry, I must have gone
No,
to.
that's okay.
Here we go. There you go. I'm sorry.
There, that's better. Okay, now I can focus. Do you want me to try A?
Yeah, yes. How would, sorry, I got,
Yeah, no worries.
I got confused for a second too. Okay, so.
It's okay.
Okay, so A is saying Emily's water glass is wet, and it would be wet only if she drank water from it this morning.
So her glass being wet would be the sufficient condition.
Yes.
And then necessary is if she drank water from it this morning.
Drank from this morning. Excellent.
Yeah.
Since the only time she drinks water in the morning is when she takes her medication, Emily took her medication this morning. So how would you diagram that second sentence, Shelby? or this part? So
Well, if she drank water in the morning,
what kind of condition does only introduce?
necessary.
Yep. So the only time she drinks water in the morning is when she takes her medication.
Okay.
So, sorry. Actually, only does introduce necessary, but the only time that
Oh,
only
yes.
does not is when it says the only.
I remember that. Okay, yeah.
Yes, the
So
only
then
time.
would
So
I
she
just
drinks-
add to the chain?
Yep. So the only time she drinks water in the morning is when she takes her medication. Excellent.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we know that her glass is wet, correct?
Mhm.
So we're trying to say that she took her medication then. Does that follow our same structure as our stimulus?
Yes.
Yeah, that's actually the correct answer.
Huh.
But let's go ahead and try B first. All right. So B says Lisa went to the hair salon today since either she went to the hair salon today or she went to the bank this morning. But Lisa did not go to the bank this morning. All right. So how I would diagram B is by saying, so Lisa either goes to the hair salon or she goes to the bank. She did not go to the bank, so we're saying she went to the hair salon. That doesn't follow our same structure as up here, right? So we can cross that one off. And so even when I say like really focus on crossing off wrong answer choices, that will be our friend on these parallel questions.
When you say same structure, I just want to make
Yep,
sure I get
yep.
it and clarify. You mean from the conclusion A to C. So
Yes, it doesn't necessarily have to go in that order, but it has to have those parts.
so if B was correct, it would have Lisa going to the hair salon. No, Lisa going to.
It would say if Lisa
Whatever
goes
B
to
is.
the
To the bank.
goes to the hair salon, she goes to the bank. Or no, it would say something like whenever Lisa leaves her house, she goes to the hair salon. And when she goes to the hair salon, she goes to the bank. Since Lisa left her house, she's going to the bank.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So I guess just looking at it on these little shorthands, it would just instead of not B's and HS, it would be L then
L to B.
Okay, L to B.
So it would be Lisa goes to the bank, but it's kind of awkward with how this one's set up where the water glass being, if we change left, like Lisa to like Lisa left her house. Yep. All right.
Okay.
So then C says there are no bills on John's kitchen table. Since John gets at least one bill per day and he always puts his bills on his kitchen table, someone else must have checked John's mail today. That's just irrelevant, right? Like that's not going from A to B to this. It's saying like, hey, this normally happens. Since it didn't happen, someone else must have done it. So we can cross C off. D says Linda is grumpy only if, which only if introduces necessary, only if she does not have her coffee in the morning. So if Linda is grumpy, this is me, it should say Nicole is grumpy. But if Linda is grumpy, that means she does not have her coffee. Only if she runs, and Linda does not have her coffee in the morning, only if she runs out of coffee. So I'm going to change this to coffee morning. And she only doesn't have it when she runs out of coffee. Therefore, Linda runs out of coffee only on days that she is grumpy. So this is saying that if she is grumpy, I'm sorry. So this is saying that if she runs out of coffee, that means that she must be grumpy. But this is actually a false reversal, right? Because it's just taking this and putting it in the front, and we can't do that. So it's not following the same structure. But Amani, what would this one have to say? Like, what would our conclusion have to say to make this the correct answer?
It would have to say
What would our conclusion be?
She is grumpy and she,
It would say, since Linda is
Jada?
grumpy, what?
since Linda is grumpy,
What variable do we have to get to?
well, it's the C. So she would have to have her coffee. So
Run
she
out
would
of
have
coffee.
to run out of coffee.
Yeah. So what
Okay.
our sim is saying is like, if she's grumpy, that means she didn't have her coffee in the morning, and she only doesn't have her coffee in the morning if she runs out of coffee. So since Linda is grumpy, she must have ran out of coffee. That would be the correct answer if it said that.
Okay. Because that would match.
Yep.
See, I still don't understand how we would match it, because then we have like a negative negation for the coffee, but on the
I see.
diagram we
Yes.
created.
And if there were two that were like perfectly matched, that would be, if that was the only detail between the two, then yes,
Mhm.
you're right. But we care about structure before we care about like it being negative or positive, because we're still going A to B to C, A to C.
Just get to that point.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. That's a lot.
Like that's where there is some levels here where we're not going to get into all of it until we dive into harder. Like just focus on basic structure first.
Okay. Make sure they match.
Yep.
Okay.
Jeff had to choose either a grapefruit or cereal for breakfast this morning. So Jeff had to have a grapefruit. I already don't like this because it's giving us two options. Given that Jeff is allergic to grapefruit, he must have had cereal. Yeah, that's not what we're doing at all. So we can cross E off, and that's why A is our answer.